take roll and get the meeting going. So good morning, everyone. Today, I see that we're recording. Thank you. And today is Thursday, July 20th, 2023. And this is a Concord Middle School Building Committee meeting. I am going to call roll. Alexa Anderson.
I'm here, present.
Hello. Court Booth.
He's away.
No Court. Okay. Heather Bout. Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Frank Cannon. I saw Frank and I see your mouth
Frank.
moving.
He's here.
Yeah.
He's muted, but he's here.
Thank you, Frank. Justin Cameron. Maybe taking some time off this summer.
No, he's working this week, but I don't see
Okay.
him.
Bob Conry.
Bob's working this week too. We're in July mode, I think.
No worries.
Here
No
comes
worries.
Justin.
And I started right at 7:30, so I gave no flexibility for logging on or anything today. I see Megan's name on here. I don't know if she's here, but Megan Zamudo, the deputy town manager, will take over for Gail Dowd's role on this committee. So if Megan's here, no, maybe not. She may not even know about these meetings yet, but we've gone ahead and replaced Gail, and Gail's not here, right? I just want to make sure.
Gail's
I have the
away
right
this
people.
week and finishing up a little remotely next week. So
Okay, well, we will miss Gail. She was great.
yeah.
Peter Fishalis.
Present.
Hi, Peter. Don Goriello, I'm present. Russ Hughes.
I'm here.
Hi, Russ.
Hello.
Lori Hunter
Present.
and Mark Howell.
Here.
Hi, Mark. Carrie LaFleur.
I'm here, and I just want to mention that Gail may end up staying with us for a few months longer
Oh,
on this committee. So
oh, great.
we'll know next week.
Okay, keep us posted because I had poor Hill. We went back and forth. I'm like, I thought
Yeah.
Gail was done, and like there was a back and forth. So anyway, that's why Megan's
Yeah.
name's on here. But we can, by all means, if Gail is sticking around a little longer, we're happy to put her back in and have her included. Just keep us posted, please, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat Nelson. Pat's away.
Yeah, Pat's out of town.
I didn't know if she was still planning to join remotely. Chris Popoff.
Present.
Hi, Chris. Charlie Parker.
Here.
Matt Root.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Eric Sims. Is Eric here? Sustainability? No. Steven Stashewski.
Here.
Hey, Steve. All right, great. So roll has been called, and next on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes. Has everyone had time to review June 29th, 2023 meeting minutes? And if so, does anyone have any edits, changes, updates? Feel free to just speak up. Nothing? Does anyone have a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Who was that?
Steve,
Why? Oh, Steve. Thanks,
I'll
Steve.
second it.
And thank you, Alexa. All right, we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 29th, 2023 with a second by Alexa. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call. Alexa,
Anderson, I.
Court. Oh yeah, Court's not here. Heather,
Hi.
Frank, can anyone see Frank? Frank, give us a
Yes,
thumbs up,
he's
thumbs down,
saying-
wave.
He's
Okay,
waving. Yes, I assume that means yes.
excellent. Thanks, Frank. Justin.
Doesn't
Justin
vote.
doesn't get a vote.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Let me skip ahead. Thank you for that. Peter Fishalis.
Yes.
Dawn, I'm a yes. Lori,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Pat, Pat's not here. Chris,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes,
Excellent. Thank you. All right, moving on to correspondence communication. Heather, you prepared to give us a quick update?
Yes, very quick.
you.
We had one piece of correspondence just asking about kind of process at the middle school itself during construction. And I also did that, if I can take an extra 10 seconds, that made me think I want to make one other comment that's kind of to the public, but the appreciation in that email was so noticeable that it was so nice to see. And we've mentioned many times how much we appreciate the town's financial support of this project, which is obviously true. But I think we should, also mention just how much we appreciate the support of the town in all of the logistics and everything that's going on, and especially the middle school families who will be in the school for the next 3 years. And we know Justin and Lori will manage that really well. But I just wanted to point that out and express our appreciation for all the ways that the town is supporting this project. But that was the only correspondence we had.
Yeah, well, the town's really involved in, I don't know how much folks know, but like the weekly meetings and the different
Right.
departments, the town and everyone involved has been really hands-on in trying to move things forward as the contractor has needed, approvals and permits and that sort of thing. So I second that. And also that email was more of an operations thing. So I think Justin and Lori were going to handle that kind of logistics and operations of how communication will be fed out to the different families. So
yeah,
it's great that folks are already thinking about it. It's July.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and maybe that's the answer to that is something we can put in either the FAQs or blast it out to the email so that it's not just the person asking that gets the answer, but everyone can know kind of how communication will be fed out.
Yeah,
so
sure. And I know Justin and Lori are sending something out. They'll be communicating with the middle school families so that they won't even need to come to us. So
Yeah, there'll be lots
yeah,
of
absolutely.
ones.
So just wanted to mention that, but that was it for correspondence, unless anyone else saw anything that I didn't see come in. And then on communications, a very quick update. We're still working on the best way to just kind of process all of our information, share it out. It's also summer right now and really not the best time to get everybody together. And I feel like nobody's really around watching for our information anyway. So we're going to regroup in August. And get more regular communications going out for the fall. Right now, we're still sending our building committee reports, which are really just kind of short, fun reports with some photos. So we're still doing our regular communications, and we'll ramp it up a little bit for the school year and for fall when people are back in town. And that's it.
Yeah,
unless there are any...
Thank you, Heather. It's an exciting time to share information, and people that are driving by or yeah, as I see people in town, they're like, oh my God, stuff's happening. So it's kind of fun. It's a fun time. So I appreciate the kind of the chance to take a breath of fresh air and, see the mounds of dirt and the machines that are out there. So it's kind of exciting.
Exactly.
All right. With that, I'll turn it over to Hill for their OPM update.
Sorry, I had a comment on I don't know how to raise my hand from the phone, sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Steve. Go ahead.
There was like a little bit of a request in that email to do some educational opportunities for the kids. And so I just wanted to, raise my hand and say if there's any need to support that on Lori and Justin's side, I'd be available. And I think the Hill team probably would be the best person to point it, but if there's any support that's necessary, I'd love to help out.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Excellent. We're really excited to get the kids in, and when they left, it was a field. So we're excited for all the opportunities. I know Justin's already got ideas. So thank you.
Yeah. And to be honest, this is the time of summer where we plan our start of the year. Our assemblies, get some excitement going for the new school year. And we also, Lori and I talked about this yesterday, we find it important that whatever education, whatever excitement we build for the project, we also incorporate some safety in that assembly as well, and staying away from the job site. My own two were here yesterday and they were like, let's go, running towards that big mound of dirt. And we're about to get 700 kids pretty excited. So we got to do some safety talk with the kids as well.
That's awesome. And just food for thought, I had a community member reach out to just me, not the committee, asking about different lunches and how many lunches were planned. So there are families out there, Justin, sort of curious about the new school and the process and the operations and all I said was it was designed for 3 lunches, but that doesn't mean it'll be 6, 7, and 8. I don't know how the how the school will, end up dividing that, but there's definitely interest and curiosity about the new building and the operations of it. So any opportunity to share any of that information, I think the community is kind of craving a little bit of excitement about it. So just letting you know. Okay, shall we move on to OPM update?
Sure. Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let us know how we can support that effort to, spend some time with the students and get them up to speed on what's going on and talk safety and whatnot. So happy to help.
It might be fun. I'm just thinking, sorry to interrupt you, Ian. I'm thinking it might be fun to have like a floor plan of the existing Sanborn and a floor plan of the new building and see what kids are able to because not everyone knows how to read floor plans, but to do a comparison of here's what you're used to now and here's what's coming or something. I don't know, something more visual and fun.
Very good. So I'll jump into the OPM update here. We've got some financial updates for the technical review committee, cash flow and budget summary, and then we'll get into the GC update for you guys. I'm going to start with the TRC update because it kind of feeds into our budget. So this is everything that has happened since the last time we met. So the first thing is just a commitment for the material testing agency for FINA engineering. We got the bids back. These guys were the low bidders. Definitely a qualified firm that we worked with in the past. So we made the recommendation to award to FINA. Their value here is $254 and $15. So that is a new commitment on the budget. And the way that we covered that commitment in the previous meeting, we had done an amendment to AKF and SGH for the whole building air leakage. So we actually used money from the testing agency line item that we ended up needing to use. So for the FINA commitment. So that's what these transactions are here below. So essentially, this is the transaction to cover the AKF amendment, the $35,100. We moved that from the testing agency line item. And then we ended up needing to move money from soft cost contingency to cover this commitment of $254.15. So essentially we were about $4,000 when you consider both of those transactions, we were about $4,000 over what we had budgeted for that line item for material testing agency. So those are the moves that we did as far as budget adjustments go. And then invoices, we have the SMMA invoice for June, the Hill invoice for June, and then CTA's invoice for June as well. And I'm showing the CTA invoice in red because we have reviewed it, we have approved it. We're not going to proceed with paying it until we have an approved schedule of values from them. So we've been kind of going back and forth and trying to finalize their schedule of values. They had until the second requisition to do that. So we want to make sure that we have an agreement on the schedule of values before we proceed with payment to CTA. So that's the TRC update. Any questions on that?
Hey, Ian?
Yeah.
This is Peter. Could you just explain a little bit why we don't have a schedule of values? Sorry, an approved schedule of values?
So they've submitted a schedule of values and we've reviewed it and commented on it. We've just been going back and forth on the breakdown. So when they first submitted it, they had line items that were, big chunks of money that we wanted to see further breakdown on. So we're having them break down more of the tasks, more of the line items, so that it's easier to understand exactly what they're billing for in the future. Our rule of thumb is we want to try and get it, close to 25 grand per line item. Sometimes it's not feasible to do that, but we use our best judgment in those cases. And so that's what we've been working with them on, is getting a schedule of values with plenty of detail, so that it's easy for us to review requisitions and agree upon work that's been completed.
Okay, so it's in their court. They need to get it back to us. I'm just hopefully we don't have to withhold any payment from them. That's all. So hopefully we're chasing it and they're chasing it down, and we're talking about a matter of days.
Yeah, ball's in their court. I don't think it's much time that
Good.
they're going to need to get this
Okay,
resolved,
thanks.
but just, yep.
Does everyone know what a schedule of values is? Does anyone not know what a schedule of values is?
Yes, I don't know.
Okay, so basically it is a breakdown of what everything by trade and what the cost of the project will be, so that when they bill against it, they can say, whatever, the structural steel's at 100% or, at 90%. And so they're billing against the value of that structural steel at 90% as the example. So so that they can't overbill and say our structural steel's at 90% and we believe it's at 60, right? So there's a value set to, so if the requisition is basically the contractor looking to be paid, and a pencil rack is when it first comes in and everyone looks at it against it, makes comments, says, no, I think you're closer to, 70% than 90. And there's a little bit of back and forth, and then the final payment is billed against that. So just so you know, that's what they're talking about. So it's important to have up front, so that once the contractor, because right now the billing's not a lot, but it's going to get into the millions by month, right? Like we're spending many, many millions over the course of the next, 18 months. So it's really important to have that. So just so that everyone knows what Ian and Peter are talking about.
Yes, thank you, Don. So I'll move on to the cash flow. This is what you guys are used to seeing here. So we did update this based on two things. We got a cash flow projection from SMMA for their billings during construction, for their construction administration services. We got a cash flow as well from CTA, and what they think their monthly expenditures are going to be throughout construction. So we have plugged those into this chart to update the cash flow. But essentially we're here at this snapshot in time, the July snapshot. So we've got the billings for the month at 200,660. That'll go up once we get the CTA invoice approved. And the projections moving forward are in each one of these buckets. So we've got the OPM and commissioning projections, the designer and consultants. We've got FF&E, we've got construction, and we've got contingency going all the way through the end of the job. So this is kind of the typical breakdown that we show every week. And then this is the graph, just kind of show you where we're at with actual expenditures versus estimated. Some of the variance here is projections on contingency usage. So obviously we haven't really used any contingency with the exception of what I just showed you earlier. But we do project those out to be completely expended just to account for all the funds. So that'll be some of the variance that you see in actual versus estimated expenditures. And then the other consideration now is just the CTA requisitions, and those being pushed through will get us closer what the projections, the estimated expenditures are. So so this all ties into the budget summary. Same same approved budget. We've got all the approved budget in this column. We've got committed costs here so far, and then cash flow to date, which ties into the chart that I just showed you guys. So essentially we've got, at this point, we've got 98.3 million in commitments for construction and all the various consultants working on the project. We've got 8.4 million in expenditures to date, with a balance to spend of 103 million. Any questions?
Chris has one.
Yes.
On the project budget and cost summary, I'd recommend on the last column, change that from balance to spend to just balance. I think the balance to spend might suggest to some folks who aren't following this that we've already planned and we already know we're going to spend the entire budget.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. It's a good point.
Thanks, Chris. Steve, you figured out how to put your hand up.
Yeah.
I see it.
So,
Yeah.
just wanted to point out that our technical review committee meetings have been going on weekly. I think we missed one because we didn't have anything to talk about. But one of the major comments from last week's meeting was, oh, wow, we only have really only one change order, and it's kind of a weak one with the temporary fencing, and which was nullified pretty quickly. So I just want to give everybody a round of applause, because we've gone 2 months into construction and we haven't had any changes right off the bat, which on a public project I think is a success, and I wanted to raise that for everybody's awareness.
Thanks, Steve. It's great. They'll come. Don't. I'm sure they're coming, but it's great that there's nothing so far. So
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you.
it's good. Yeah.
So I'll jump into the construction update here. So as I mentioned, we made an award to FINA Engineering on July 14th for the material testing agent. We had a kickoff meeting with them on Tuesday of this week. They were on site on Wednesday doing rebar inspections and are going to be doing concrete sampling today. So the building permit was issued officially. We received the paperwork on July 17th in advance of the construction, the foundation start. So we started rebar inspections yesterday, and foundations are starting today. So pretty huge milestones to start to see work being put into place on site, which is great. There's still some activities ongoing as well. They're stripping loam on site. There's screening. They've got a pretty big screening operation on site, which is the big pile of dirt that you see. They're dismantling the existing playground equipment, and we'll be putting that back together at another location. We're still working to get the temp trailer set up and power out there. They're probably a week away from getting the power out there. We've got our trailer on site, so we're nearly there with the temp trailers, and they've been using, as far as construction entrances, they've been using the entrance on the school side from the parking lot area. They will be establishing construction entrances at Old Marlborough Road, and I think we've got a resolution at this point on whether or not we're going to put in a temporary crosswalk along Old Marlborough. The answer is no, we're not going to put a temporary crosswalk at this time. They're just going to have everyone utilize the existing crosswalk in front of the school. So we'll just have to really focus in on safety on those construction entrances on Old Marlborough Road, and make sure that there's no incidents or impacts there. So looking ahead, we've got for the next foreseeable future, we'll be working, continuing excavations, continuing foundation construction. So this is kind of what you're starting to see here. They're cutting down to bottom of foundation grades, putting in stone, preparing the subgrade for the foundations to be installed. Here's some rebar on site, and then starting to see some formwork take place and rebar cages being put into place. So there'll be a lot more of that in the near future, and just some more angles here on the rebar and forms that they've been working on. So that's what's happening in the field. I don't know if anyone else, if Lorraine or John Cutler, if you guys have anything else to add on the construction update, or anything that you're seeing or want to comment on.
No, our geotech is out there doing subgrade investigations, so everything so far has been going good, and submittals have started. Our team is underway.
I was just going to ask, in the absence of a schedule, do we know when steel's going up? I assume you guys have either reviewed it or are reviewing it, Lorraine, just out of curiosity. That's when it gets exciting, right? Like, to a hole in the ground, no one can really see, but once the steel starts going up, it starts to feel real. So I don't know.
We do not have a schedule yet.
Yeah,
That is
I
one of
know.
the
I
things
haven't
that we
seen
have
one
been
either.
Pushing on. It's due tomorrow, from what I understand.
Yes, yep.
I would think in the fall, like it's what, July? I don't know. I don't know how they're sort of phasing the steel operation and the
Yeah, I think that's a time
foundations.
frame that we're looking at for
Yeah. Just kind of a time to get folks excited. Once the steel goes up, it happens quick and it
Yeah.
starts to feel real. So just that's kind of, in my mind, that's a big milestone for people that can't like get into the site and see the footings and foundations that are being poured.
Yeah.
Are we going to
absolutely.
do a topping off party on that note?
Hope so.
We should, yeah.
Yeah, we should start talking about that. I don't know when again, we don't have a schedule. Once we have a schedule and can see when the steel erection is pretty far along and / complete, we should try to plan something. That'd be nice. They usually put a tree on it and we could do a little ceremony. Sometimes there's like a beam that gets signed. So
Yep.
Ian, if you want to try to spearhead that and coordinate
Sure.
with Justin if he wants kids to sign it, or the building committee or whoever, like I've seen it all. So or nothing, and you just have a ceremony and celebrate. But that's a good question. Chris, I see your hand.
Yeah, just real quick, I go by a couple times a week, and Ian, it strikes me that they're doing real well in dealing with the excessive amount of rain we've had. That's at least what it looks like when you go around the
Yeah.
perimeter. Is that basically been what you've seen as well?
Yeah, that's what we've seen, and there's been a lot of discussions about how to combat that. I know that there was an area that they were dealing with the excessive runoff, that they had to kind of change the plan in the backside of the site to deal with runoff and kind of beef up the environmental protections. So yeah, they've been doing a good job, and Vin Miller, our site manager, has been monitoring it and making sure that they stay on top of it. Yeah.
Matt, I see your hand.
Thank you, Ann. Lorraine, can you just say a few more words about submittals and kind of what submittals you're seeing and what, when you expect those to start to really ramp up?
Yeah, so I will say that CTA is behind in paperwork. We have no submittal schedule, and we have no construction schedule. So what we're seeing right now are a lot of the foundations. So we're seeing rebar and concrete. We've had our pre-installation meeting for concrete. So we've seen some of those. We haven't started to see any of the true, like we haven't seen mechanical yet, for example, or big electrical. We're looking out at those. They have some forecasted dates of when they're coming in. Particularly for the long lead items, but right now it's a little bit random what we're getting, depending on which sub is providing them to CTA. So I'm hopeful that by the end of this week that they'll have their paperwork in order and we'll be able to see a true submittal schedule so we can plan our work, and we can share that with you out, Matt, so that we know when we're going to expect the submittals that I think you're going to be interested in seeing.
Great. Thank you, Lorraine.
Sure.
Ian, is that everything you had on your update?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, great. Very good. Looks like the next agenda item, CPC funding. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Peter, but I know you've been working on it and reaching out to others. Lori may have some information on that as well, but can you give a quick update on where that is and what's happening? And if Lori wants to chime in on town participation or school participation, that'd be great.
Sure. So we had another meeting and Lori agreed to spearhead the effort and had her staff in the since they were in the office until the end of July, thought it would be best to have them start working on the application. I've also reached out to the Park and Rec director, and she's interested in connecting on it as well. So I'm going to connect her in with Lori. The plan is to submit an application probably for the next 2 years of some yet to be determined amount. It's going to be, you know, nominal in the scope of the project, but it will fulfill our desire to seek CPC funds. So that's what I have. Lori, I don't know how you guys are making out.
Yeah, July is flying, but we're still committed to being the point people on it. I think that just makes sense. I know Lorraine and I sort of talked in passing. A lot of the documents we need are already available. So a lot of it's just getting organized with the structure of the application. It's due September 9th. So we do need to use the summer to get it pulled together. So we'll get going on that. But I think, you know, it makes sense for the school administrators to lead it.
Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to do that. I know you guys have a lot going on ahead of the school year, so tough timing, but thank you. And thank you, Peter, for setting up meetings and getting an understanding of what is possible and what we need to do to apply. So appreciate that very much. Any questions on that? If not, we'll move to public comment. Do we have any public members? Anyone curious about anything? Nothing? Oh, Steve? Go ahead.
On behalf of a neighbor, we were wondering what the arborist has said and if there's any update on the trees that were surrounding the property. Concerns about compaction of roots and protection of the existing trees and what the project's doing to make sure that we keep the trees alive.
The questions about the trees that are remaining, yeah, and protecting them, is that your question? Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to answer it?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
you
Lorraine.
mind taking that?
Sometimes public comment we hear, but we don't answer, so I'm just making sure. So yeah, we had Mike Dowhan, our landscape architect, had a walk to the site with the tree warden some months ago. Our specifications include a tree protection plan. We consider the tree all the way out to the drip edge, so it's not just the tree trunk. So there's protection that starts at the drip edge. I know the team has been out there. We removing trees and protecting trees, that particularly the ones that are going to stay on the project, is of the utmost importance. We coordinated with CTA on the logistics plan to make sure that the gate and the location of the gate and the trailers didn't impede a tree that we were planning on keeping. So that was on the drawings. So that coordination is ongoing. I would say, Steve, if somebody has seen something, just to let us know through the project team. Our team did a site walk, as I said, and then we'll continue to do that as more and more trees. There's not a huge amount of trees right around the construction that get protected, but there is the adjacent border. So that's what's critical for us.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Sure.
Thanks.
Any other public comment, questions? No? All right, we'll move on to next steps, our next meeting. And do you have a date on that? I don't know if I do.
Let me look here. It is the 24th of August.
Oh yeah, I see it in my calendar. Thursday, August 24th, 7:30 a.m. Great. Anything else on next steps? If not, we can adjourn. Everyone can
Thank-
go enjoy the lovely weather we're having. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Any seconds? All right,
Second,
thank you, guys.
thanks,
Good day,
everyone.
everyone.